How's it going, Yankee fans? Welcome back to Fireside Yankees with Alex and Ryan. New report today, new player that's potentially going to be moved at the trade deadline, Padres star pitcher Dylan Cease. Now, his numbers this year at face value don't necessarily look all that good or impressive, but behind the scenes, the numbers are very, very solid and encouraging, to say the least, that he might have been getting a bit unlucky the first half of the year, and his second half of the season should be much, much better. We'll talk about really what those metrics say, what the Yankees might have to give up for him. He's a rental. He's going to be hitting free agency after this season, so the Padres are seemingly inclined to trade him. Apparently, they've been in talks with Charlie Morton, who could possibly be their, bait and switch. Like, they'll trade Dylan Cease and then acquire Morton for far less and kind of replace the production there. So the Yankees could be a team that are in the mix. I know the Mets are also listed as a possible suitor for Dylan Cease. But Ryan, before we dive into what he has to offer, what the Yankees would have to give up for a player like this, who we both like a lot, how you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing well, and as you got into this with the San Diego Padres, they find themselves in a very interesting position at this year's trade deadline. Alex, we have seen the San Diego Padres operate as both buyers and sellers in a market before. And not only have we seen it, but the New York Yankees were active participants in that. The San Diego Padres back in 2023 of December traded outfielder superstar Juan Soto to the New York Yankees. The Yankees sent Michael King, Kyle Higashioka, Drew Thorpe, Randy Vasquez, and Yanni Brito over, which was a mixture of, prospects like Brito and Vasquez and major league talent in King and Higashioka. Now, you might say, Ryan, why didn't you mention Drew Thorpe? Well, that's because they traded him for Dylan Cease. So what the Padres were able to do was acquire major league talent, young minor league controllable pitching, and also acquire a piece that they could flip in a deal for an impact player, again, acting as both buyers and sellers. We could see that same thing here, and Dylan Cease should certainly attract the Yankees and entice the Yankees as someone who, yes, has a high ERA, but has a lot of numbers that suggest he is someone who should get better. Dylan Cease this year has a 4.59 ERA, but a 3.58 FIP and a 3.37 expected FIP, an expected ERA of 3.46, a 30% strikeout rate, and 8.4% walk rate. The one thing that does concern me here is that 1.24 home runs per nine, but you want to talk about a lottery ticket who could perform better in the second half. Dylan Cease is exactly that, and he's a rental. He shouldn't cost you too much. Like, he's not going to cost you George Lombard Jr. And in fact, Alex, I have intel that the New York Yankees had drawn interest from the Padres on a player that's currently on their roster and could be seen as surplus. JC Escarra, a catcher for the Yankees, has kind of seen his playing time die down, and we have heard here at Empire Sports Media that the San Diego Padres held interest in trading for JC Escarra over the winter, and from my understanding, they still view him as a good player, and they would like to acquire him. Now, the second part of that, the interest being renewed, is still not something I can confirm. I don't want to throw that out there that they're going to trade for him. They're looking to trade for him right now, but I know they tried to trade for him, and that the catching situation for the Padres has only gotten worse from this winter. So, Alex, I know people are going to say, well, Escarra isn't good. JC Escarra is top 10 in framing runs in all of baseball. He has 199 innings at catcher. He has not played much. He has framed very well. A 660 OPS. You might think that's not great, but for a catcher, it's solid. And it's great for an organization like the Padres, who have a combined 590 OPS as a catching room, and very importantly, are bottom 10 in framing runs in the league. So, Alex, with the New York Yankees having JC Escarra, with the Yankees having prospects that could entice the Padres, and the Padres could use to flip and get other pieces, maybe a Jarren Duran from the Boston Red Sox, the Yankees could both help the Padres get a catcher immediately and indirectly help them get another piece, and in return, the Yankees could get someone like a Dylan Cease.
Absolutely. I mean, JC Escarra is a valuable piece. The Yankees, and look, if you're another team who needs catching support, you basically know the Yankees are going to give you a pretty solid player. I mean, you look at Carlos Narvaez, you look at even Luis Torrens with the Mets he did earlier this year. He was having a really good start. Now he's calmed down over the last couple weeks, but, they've just been, Agustin Ramirez is now a core piece of that Marlins team. Will probably end up being traded at some point in the next couple of years. But listen, the Yankees have been just hand-delivering quality catchers to every team that comes a-calling, and the truth is they have another one, JC Escarra, and like you mentioned, the defensive metrics are elite. If you extrapolated his sample over what Austin Wells has seen this season, he'd lead the league in catcher framing runs. Like, we're talking about a guy who really could be a special defensive player, and I think the bat, with consistent everyday at-bats, would be a lot better. He just hasn't gotten, consecutive days worth of action that how do you really get better? You're not seeing MLB pitching every day. So I think, Escara has a lot of juice left in the tank. He is in the first year of arbitration. If you're a team, like the Padres who have a really bad catcher room and you immediately get one of the best defensive catchers in baseball and a player with untapped potential offensively, good bat speed, some good underlying power, and some decent play discipline. Escara is a home run hit, like pun intended. Like he is going to be a very good acquisition for you, and if it helps the Yankees get a rental in Dylan Cease, who is going to be a playoff contributor for this team and is going to be an instant contributor for the second half of this year, let's talk about why he would be, what he shows that makes us so interested in this potential avenue for the Yankees. So over 111.1 innings this year, he has a 4.61 ERA. At face value, not necessarily like that impressive. The strikeouts are excellent, 143 over that's 111 innings, 89th percentile strikeout rate, 94th percentile whiff rate, 89th percentile chase rate. He gets swings and misses, and that's the most important thing for Matt Blake. Now the damage, sometimes he can give up some damage contact, which has really been biting him this year. A little bit too many home runs, I think around 1.23. I read this afternoon, so something in that range, up quite significantly from last year and the past couple seasons. But, for the most part, this is a pitcher who the underlying metrics say his expected ERA 3.46 is way better than his 4.61. He can be your number 3 in the postseason. He can be a key frontline starter for you the rest of the way. He gives you an insurance policy if anything happens to Max Fried or Carlos Rodon. You have someone you can trust and has postseason experience. So, at just the value you see underlying metrics, like the Yankees know this is a very good player. He's just having a bit of a wonky year so far. If the luck starts to turn, he starts to kind of see better results the rest of the way, it's going to look very worth it. Having a player like that will be very worth it. You roll into the postseason with a 3-man rotation of Fried, Rodon, and Dylan Cease. Now your bullpen issues that we have right now, let's say they go get another bullpen arm or two. You also have Luis Gil at your disposal. You have potentially Ryan Yarbrough, who comes back at some point, another lefty arm. You have Will Bourne. You could, Cam Schlitler, you go throw 10 100-mile-an-hour fastballs for us in the postseason. That's all we need from you in one inning of just gas. You have middle relief guys that can go extra length. Like you have a whole bunch of options now at your disposal that you didn't have before. Dylan Cease gives you that luxury. So, if he's available and he's going to cost you like Escara, maybe plus something else, I think it's a home run. I think it's an easy decision. He's a difference maker. He's an impact player. This is one of those guys, if the Yankees have a real chance at it, have the real shot at it, and they match up really well in terms of what the Padres need, this could be, game-changing for our rotation and really helps our bullpen, too, down the stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Dylan Cease would be a massive impact piece for the New York Yankees. And, I will also say this. There are other teams interested. The New York Mets, the Chicago Cubs, other AL East teams, as Buster Olney of ESPN noted. Another player, if the Yankees can't get Dylan Cease from the Padres, whom I believe the Yankees would be interested in, is relief pitcher Robert Suarez. Now, Alex, I am learning that the New York Yankees have interest in, or have people in the organization who like Robert Suarez and would view him as a upgrade in their bullpen. Now, that isn't really like, oh my gosh, breaking news. I would imagine that any team would have interest in acquiring Robert Suarez, who is likely to opt out of his deal and become a free agent by season's end. And if you want to talk about directly addressing a bullpen hole for the Yankees, their fastball velocity or their four-seam velocity as a bullpen is the 5th worst in all of Major League Baseball. If you want to look at Stuff Plus, which is a metric I very much value, their fastball Stuff Plus of 99 is middle of the pack. Robert Suarez packs a punch in his fastball. His fastball Stuff Plus is 114. That's well above the Major League average. His fastball velocity also above the Major League average. He's sitting at 98.5 miles per hour this season, a 3.42 ERA, a 26.7% strikeout rate. He has experience as a closer. He has done well as a closer throughout his career. He has had ups and downs. This is not a perfect reliever by any stretch of the imagination, but he is better than what you have in your bullpen. And again, looking at someone like JC Escara, for the New York Yankees, it would be very beneficial for them to lighten the load on their prospect pool and to try and squeeze as much value as they can from their catching pool. Here's the reality of it. JC Escara is not playing a lot for the Yankees. And again, I don't think that's because he's a bad player. I just think it's because when you have to choose between sitting Ben Rice and Austin Wells, it's a very difficult decision. Wells is a very good defensive catcher. Rice has shown himself to be a strong defensive catcher, and more importantly, has shown to be the best hitter of those three. He has taken so many big swings for the Yankees. The home run last night. If Ben Rice isn't playing, you don't win that baseball game. So, Alex, I think it's vital for the New York Yankees to get as much value as they can from that catching room. And at least for Suarez, Cease, I'm under the impression that if the Yankees were to try and get Dylan Cease, JC Escarra is not going to cut it on his own. But for Suarez, JC Escarra may be enough to at least basically make it a 1-for-1. Maybe the Yankees toss in a lower prospect, but if you look at the Yankee farm system, they have guys to deal, and that's going to help them, but you would like to save those chips as much as humanly possible to either A, swing other deals, or B, improve your roster down the road. I know that Spencer Jones is someone the Yankees aren't dying to trade. George Lombard Jr. is another name that they're not going to really entertain trading unless someone that we don't know is available ends up emerging. Carlos Legrand is someone who I think they would be willing to trade, but he has immense talent. The emergence of Cam Schlitler, as you mentioned, he is now a starter for this rotation. He just had one of the biggest starts for any Yankee starter this season yesterday. And guys like Will Warren, guys like Elmer Rodriguez Cruz, you can't ignore the impact of some of either high A guys, Griffin Herring, Ben Hess, Bryce Cunningham. The Yankees have a lot of pitching prospects, and I'm sure they'll deal some, but I don't think you want to completely drain that part of your farm system, because as we've seen this year, Alex, pitching injuries happen like this, and in 2026, you may need some of these guys to help you, or even in the second half of 2025. So, Alex, I think Suarez is someone the Yankees might target. Robert Suarez. I know Eugenio Suarez is out there, but I'm referring to Robert. And then Dylan Cease, as you mentioned, is another name.
Yeah, absolutely. So, just to wrap this up, want to just give some flowers to Schlitler for that performance yesterday. Gutsy play. Want to talk about the value he's created for himself and the opportunity he's created for himself, right? Another team that sees him as, not even sees him, he is ready to be an MLB starter. Another team will probably visualize him in their rotation long term. He is a work in progress. He needs a little bit more time. He has lots of refinement left to experience. But that fastball is real. That fastball is real. I mean, towards the end of his performance, he was still averaging 97, right, with the fastball. It came a tick or two down. He wasn't really trying to overthrow the triple digits yesterday. He was trying to be a little bit more controlled with it, which I think worked in his favor because he was able to, finish the game strong, or finish his outing at least. The slider needs work. He misplaced the slider a lot. He had a sinker that had some pretty. I saw it come out of the hand. I saw the movement on it. I was like, whoa. I didn't know he had that in the bag, man. Like, that sinker is no joke. I think it can move, and it has velocity. His curveball has good bite on it. He has a solid curveball. If he can locate the sinker, locate the slider and curveball more efficiently down the stretch as he just gets better and just has more experience under his belt, he's going to be an extremely dangerous player. You know what I mean? Like, this is a guy that he has a little bit of Luis Heel to him, where that fastball in zone, just get it in zone and let the rest happen. The rest of his pitches are a little bit inconsistent, but when you look at him, Ryan, he's still very raw. I mean, he came out of nowhere this year, to be quite honest with you. So, we were expecting him to be very, very an unfinished, unpolished product, and he is. But when you look at Cam Schlitler and you see the progress he's made, if he gets that slider down, if you see you watching him side by side to Max Scherzer, you saw the placement of Scherzer's slider, you saw the placement of his pitches. He's 40 years old. Like, you see Garrett Cole has that same, just pinpoint accuracy at times. If he can get that accuracy, which is the hardest part of being a pitcher, that pinpoint accuracy, this guy could be a frontline starter long term. I think that we saw glimpses of it yesterday, but even just being volatile and random, he's still extremely effective.
Yeah, real quick here, Alex. The way that you talk about his fastball is something that I think is spot on. It explodes out of his hand. When I watched him in Somerset, his fastball velocity was closer to 95 miles per hour. But once he got to AAA, it seemed to bump up. And I think, number one, Schlittler's velocity had been improving throughout the season. He did pitch in very cold weather in Somerset for the first few weeks. And then as it heated up, he started throwing harder. You start seeing 99, 98 on the radar gun, and it caught your eye. But number two, and something I think we saw last night, Cam Schlittler's demeanor is something that people in the Yankee organization have raved about. Cam Schlitler is a bulldog. This is someone who takes a great deal of pride in his competitive nature. You will see him cursing himself out on the mound after a bad pitch, but not in a way that you sit there and go, oh, he's off the rails, but in a manner that gives you that courage, that this encouragement, that this is a guy who is not afraid to go after people. There were times in Somerset where he pitched a little bit skittish, but those days have seemed to kind of be behind him. He has kind of learned that his stuff is dominant. He trusts it. And Alex, you mentioned unfinished product. He has 243 and a third innings pitched at the minor league level. At the major league level, he has 10 and a third. So he's got roughly 250 innings of baseball outside of college under his belt. At the pro level, he is very raw. He is very unfinished. He is a very raw product. This is someone who the Yankees can continue to mature and develop. And one final note on Cam Schlitler here, Alex. When you have guys with really good stuff, and his stuff plus score of 110 is elite, high stuff plus score pitchers have a bigger margin for error. So yes, Cam Schlitler can throw 99 and it can be, right over the middle of the plate and he can get a ground ball on it. He can get a pop-up on it. He can get these outs. He can walk 3 guys and strike out 3 and still find a way to put together a decent line. That's because good stuff plays, and good stuff is always going to play. Batters have only barreled 3.3% of his batted balls this season so far, and we saw that trend consistently in AAA. The one thing I'd like to see him do, as you mentioned, locate better, maybe get his breaking ball control down a little bit. I'd like to see some more sliders down, cutters down, curveballs down. But Alex, as we have said multiple times in this podcast, high upside, high octane fastball. Cam Schlitler is someone who the Yankees view as a rotation piece. They don't view him as, let's show him off and then trade him. He's not going for Eugenio Suarez. He's not going for Dylan Cease. He will go if Joe Ryan gets traded to the Yankees, and that's highly unlikely. He may go. I'm not sure about this, but he might go if Yohan Duran gets traded to the Yankees. I heavily doubt he'll get traded for a rental.
Yeah, I mean that's a rental. I think it's too cheap of a price, to pay. And I think we're seeing reports even coming out that George Lombard Jr. and Spencer Jones are not going to be moved for rentals. So the value, I have to say, Ryan, the Yankees farm system has become way too easy to throw to the wolves. A lot of people do not see the value in their farm system. They have some really valuable players. They have multiple. I mean, Elmer Rodriguez Cruz is really close to cracking the top 100 prospects. There are guys in this farm system that are being, I would say, disrespected. There's real talent there, and the Yankees have the I guess the ability to say we can't afford to give these guys up for next to nothing for rentals. They can give up JC Escarce because they just churn out catchers like nothing. Rafael Flores coming up the pipeline as well. I'm sure he'll be moved at some point too. But, this is definitely an interesting scenario where I think the farm system the Yankees have is a little bit more attractive than people made it seem to be as we entered this season. So really good job by their developmental programs, really good job by the coaching there. So kudos to them. And I think there is real talent to be had, and real talent that we're seeing. I mean, Schlitler came out of absolutely nowhere, and he is producing, not just performing, but he's producing at the MLB level. So really encouraging stuff, guys. Want to give you a quick update here on Dylan Cease and really that latest interest and why the Yankees could make a big trade for him. I think the underlying metrics, don't get fooled by the ERA. The behind the scenes stuff is very good. Borderline elite. The swing and miss stuff is actually elite. The expected ERA is great. He's just been unlucky. So maybe that allows the Yankees to get a slight deal on him. So we'll see how things go moving forward as we get closer to deadline in a couple days. Always happy to get your thoughts down below in the YouTube comments section. Make sure to like and subscribe. As always, drop a 5-star review on Apple and Spotify. And we'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Yankees episode.
Perfect.